Hey guys, so wanted to make this video to just kind of talk about the state of Destiny, kind of where it's at, um, and give my opinions as someone who's been playing a long time, just because I see a lot of a lot of things being said. I just kind of wanted to put all my thoughts out there, just because it's it's felt like a gut punch the last few days, to say the least, and I really just want to talk about that stuff. So what's my background? Well, I have been playing, I played original Destiny. I say played because I didn't play extremely consistently. I was in high school when it came out, so I didn't get all the DLCs, and I loved the game. I loved the idea of it, um, but I never really got into it. I never really fully immersed myself in it. I missed all of the DLCs. I just kind of watched it from afar, and I really didn't start playing Destiny 2 until it came to Steam in 2019. And when Shadowkeep came to Steam, one of my buddies at the time was playing it and was like, "Yo, you should check it out." I'm like, "You know what? You're right. It's been forever. Let me get back into this game." And I did, and it was a good time. And I fell all the way back in love with the game, and I've got now about 3,500 hours in the game. Um, I've done most of the high-end content. I understand, how the game works. I've got, a pretty good set of gear with pretty decent stats. Um, I did Pantheon. I've got some titles. I don't really care for title farming. Um, I play the game. I know how the game works. I've got a suite of insanely good weapons. Um, I've got my builds, right? Like I've got all this stuff that really a player could want, or need, especially as a warlock. Like my hunter's not that great, but I understand the game. The point is I understand the game, and I even understand PvE on a scale or on a spectrum. Like I play Final Fantasy, which is my most played MMO. I've got about 4,500 hours into that on top of my Destiny 2 hours. Um, I've got almost 3,000 hours in Warframe. I've got like 500 hours in EVE Online, 500 in Path of Exile. Um, I love MMOs. I think MMOs are great. I had a lot more hours into ESO when that was on Xbox, but point being, I understand high-end PvE content, optimization, perks, perk crafting, build crafting, optimization, debuffs and buffs, um, numbers, all that good stuff. Like that is all up my alley. And even more so in Destiny, I'm probably the most competitive out of those games. I'm probably the most competitive, quote unquote, in Destiny. So I do have a good understanding of how the game works. Again, I don't live in this game. You can see by my titles, I really don't live in this game. I've got some good ones. I've got some old ones. I've got, legacy achievements and whatnot. Um, but again, at the end of the day, this is not where I spend all my time. I I live for PvE experiences. I live for the raid, and that is where I get my fun. That's where I get my thrill. Is I spend all this time getting all of these weapons, crafting all these loadouts, theory crafting and pushing the limits so that I can participate in the day one, and hopefully win, right? I've got four day one clears, or sorry, contest clears, not including the dungeon. I understand that it takes obviously a lot. It takes optimization. It takes some luck as well. This is probably the worst contest mode that I've seen, and I did actually get my Vow of the Disciple clear on day one. We got it literally at 23 hours, um, just because of all the delays and bugs and everything. We were team 858. My video, the only other video I have on my YouTube is us clearing it literally at the last possible second. Um, it was a great time, and we knew that there was a defined meta. It was worth going after the guns that they had introduced into the game, right? Um, The sandbox mattered, your investment into the sandbox mattered. Um, all those things culminated into a pretty awesome raid experience. Caretaker was, pretty difficult. Um, some would say Rogue even more so. I think Caretaker took us the longest, just because of how long it was, the dangers of that phase, all that good stuff. Um, and I've participated in all 8 contest modes since I joined, right? Obviously, I did not participate in Garden Salvation. My first one was Deepstone Crypt, and I have a soft spot for that, despite it, being one of the easier ones. It was my first one, and it was an absolutely awesome experience. That is what got me into contest rating, is I thought, you know what, let's give it a try. Came out on top, and it was amazing. It was one of the best experiences I've had in a video game. So I've participated in all 8 raid races since. I did not get the clear for Vault of Glass. I brought my little brother with me. I was more focused on having fun, and we didn't get the clear, and that's fine. Crota, honestly, it was having I was long distance at the time with my girlfriend, and when I saw that it was going to take me an extra however many hours to beat Crota, I was like, you know what? Like I'm fine with the emblems that I have. I'm not too worried about it. I'm gonna call it there, and I left Crota. The rest of the team disbanded first. It wasn't like I just left my team, but point being that I decided to leave the raid race and not go for that day one. The Salvation's Edge race, everyone knows that was like one of the hardest races ever. Again, I was playing with a team that I found was fun to hang out with. Um, they were good players. They weren't necessarily like the best high end players. But I played with them anyways. We had a good time. Got stuck at the second boss, and we just decided to call it. So it's not the end of the world, right? The point I'm making with that is clearing contests is not the end of the world for me. Even if I do really try, it's an emblem, right? It's a clear. It's just an experience that can get replaced in a year's time, right? I understand the quote unquote lack of value that it has. It does not impact my day to day. I don't live for it. That's not what drives me. But it is an amazing experience that's really hard to replicate in anything else because it's only the 24 to 48 hours that they give you that you have to attempt to clear. And that's it. It's one and done. Can you hardcore prog for as long as you can and try to get this clear and perform at your best, right? That is what they are. I think Glad said like few enter, or sorry, many will enter, few will return victorious or something along those lines, and that's absolutely true. Like a lot of people try, not everyone succeeds. Here is where I start having issues with this raid and this contest mode. The absolute sheer amount of bugs and issues was astronomical. And this is coming from somebody who, again, cleared Val the Disciple on day one. I watched Redeem get DC'd for eons, just over and like they could not get into the raid and started 7 hours behind everybody or something ridiculous. It was absolutely miserable for them. I've watched them go through that. I experienced that myself firsthand. And despite all of that, nothing comes close to how bad this day one experience was in terms of bugs. I mean, rally banners not working, server instability, disconnects, damage not being right, enemy levels broken, stats are broken, health bar issues. Just mechanics not working. Hydra gave people issues. Like, there's so many bugs in this raid and with this day one experience that it was absolutely miserable to play outside of the enemies being harder than they were supposed to or whatever was happening with that. Like, you take that away from it, make them all easy, make all the enemies fall over. It would have still have been a miserable experience just because of how often we had to, okay, let's go to orbit. Okay, everyone restart your games. Everyone relog in. Okay, this one didn't work. Okay, you do this. It happened 24/7. Well, I guess 24/2, but the point is, it literally was nonstop the entire raid experience. It was miserable, and it at the end of the day, it's more unfortunate than anything because number one, I guarantee you more teams would have cleared. We definitely would have cleared. Um, but number two, it's just like no one wants to deal with that. You can tell. And before I say this, I want this to be taken as an honest critique. None of this is meant to be rude. None of it's meant to be disrespectful. Um, but it's all meant to be honest and talk about a game that I really really care about, and I don't want to just be a negative Nancy, and pity party. But at the end of the day, the quality assurance or quality control issues um, have been more present than ever. I know there was an article put out about um, layoffs, whatever did end up happening with the quality assurance team. It's noticeable. It is so noticeable with this expansion and especially with this raid that quality assurance has gone down the drain. Is absolutely in its worst state yet. Um, and again, even contest mode aside, you would still have all of these issues. You'd have all these complaints. And when you talk about the premier rating experience, this is it. It is the day one. The day one is the premier raid experience. This is where you bring everything you have to bear, all of your loadouts, all of your skill, all your high tech movement, or whatever it is you want to do to try and get the clear. This is where it happens. This is your chance to show off your absolute best. And when you have issues that prevent you from loading in or get in the way of practice, get in the way of understanding mechanics. You have bugs that even when you do get it right, prevent you from progressing, prevent you from enjoying what is supposed to be enjoyed. That's a disheartening experience. And power to the people who were able to push through and clear. It is so commendable, and I think you guys did a great job, and especially the world's first. Like, they're fantastic players. Nothing is to say that you know because there were bugs or because they got lucky that it somehow takes away. I don't think that's true at all. My point stands that this is supposed to be the number one experience in the game. This is it. If you can do this, if you can do a raid as hard as this on day one, you've done something that is awesome. It's so cool and it's so fun. But you can't. And it's not because your lack of skill. It's because the quality assurance and the promise of a good product is not there. You do not have the guarantee as a paying member of this DLC and of this game that the game will be in a good enough state for you to enjoy the one thing that you should be able to enjoy, which is the highest form of rating, which is contest mode. That is the premier. Master mode doesn't hold a candle. The mechanics are already experienced. Normal mode is experienced. You have surges. You've got all this other stuff aiding you. Nothing comes close to contest mode. Absolutely nothing in this game. Mythic campaign, who cares? I mean, I'm sure it's cool and it's got its rewards, but nothing beats one of these emblems. Absolutely nothing. I think for an experience that, you know, could have been conquered by the players, but was also entirely preventable by streamlined and effective quality assurance. I think it's a darn shame that this raid was experienced the way that it was. Um, I was very much looking forward to it. My team is a bunch of all stars. All of them are fantastic. I have nothing but good things to say about each one of those players. And we did kill Hydra and Wyvern, which for some people were where they got hard stuck. Um, we showed up and we put out and we performed. But I I can't say with any degree of confidence that any of these builds mattered. Honestly. It took a little bit of game knowledge just to get through ads, but when it came to damage phase, we're putting on, 8-year-old weapons that haven't seen the light of day in however long. Like, why am I still using Legend of Acrius and Thunderlord? I don't understand. Not that they can't be good, but why is that the case for all three bosses? If you didn't use one of those for all three bosses, you didn't clear. No one was using Euphony. No one was using Xenophage. No one was using Queenbreaker. No one used Anarchy, and the only people who used Heaven Vengeance were people who ran Sanguine Alchemy, Lord of Wolves, and Proc Bait and Switch. That's it. Those are the only people that use those weapons. There was no sort of skill that really went into defining the DPS meta. And I have a big gripe with that, but my biggest issue is weapons being disabled. I understand that there's bugs, and like Icebreaker, I get it. I get there's bugs. And there's probably another weapon or two on there that legitimately had issues. Um, and that's fine. But why Choir of One and Outbreak Perfected were disabled it has yet to be explained. I don't think that there are any at-large issues with either of them, or else they would have been disabled in the game entirely. Or Grand Overture for that matter. I'm not sure why they think it's acceptable to DPS test on a weapon and use it for clearing, but then disable it for the day one. That to me that makes no sense. It's like, hey, I can cheat on the test, but the moment you cheat on the test, oh, there's an issue. So we got a problem with that one. It seems like Bungie just wanted to increase the difficulty for some reason. I don't know what their artificial reasoning is, but the point is, I don't understand the point of grinding for all of these high-end weapons so that I can perform at my absolute best just for the meta to be Rally Barricade Thunderlord. Well, if I would have known that none of that mattered, then why would I play? I actually liked the Edge of Fate. I loved where the story went. I was excited about build crafting. I build craft. That's my thing. I love theory crafting and optimizing and learning new ways to play the game. Like I've got multiple builds that I try and fashion for each piece of content. Like that is part of the fun. None of it matters. Just about. I mean, maybe a little bit because it takes some game knowledge to make sure your stuff is right. But at the end of the day, I I will put away every single weapon that didn't matter in this raid race. What I am upset about is there is no reason to go and try. Like I no longer have a reason to go and play the game. The power grind, what's that gonna? It's gonna unlock some mission for me to do that gives me some stats of gear, that gives me some whatever, whatever. And how much is it gonna matter? Not at all. Not at all. We've already been shown that it doesn't matter unless you have the ultra specific loadout that gives you the A B C D E F G. It doesn't matter the effort that you put in as a player. And that was shown with Rite of the Nine. Like those weapons that we grinded for, they all suck now. They basically all suck now. They're all tier twos. And look, I understand there needs to be some form of seasonal or expansion level reset. I get it. I think that's part of in having the chase is having that reset. But there also needs to be some form of payoff. And the day one is supposed to be where that pays off. All of the hard work, all of the mechanical practice, all of the damage rotations, all of the fine tuning and understanding of the game. That's where it all pays off. And Uh, With this expansion, with this raid, it just didn't. I don't think it paid off, you know? Um, it didn't pay off for the people that it was designed to, right? Like I said, I don't live in this game. I've got 3,500 hours. That's across 5, 6 years of playing now. Um, I don't live in this game, but I know it very well. I understand good damage. I understand supporting a team. I understand being the front line of DPS. Like I know how to balance all of those things, and so does my team. It's just disheartening. It really felt like a punch in the gut. Um, Going 37 hours and just getting met bug after bug, and then just deciding, you know what, I don't think we're gonna make it. Like it's not up to us. It's the game, and at this point, we're gonna need to call it. It is what it is. But again, the emblem doesn't matter to me. The emblem doesn't matter at all. I would still feel just empty and defeated had we cleared. I think the difference is I'd be a little bit more um, self-entitled, I suppose. But again, at the end of the day, it was such an unpleasant experience that I don't want to do one again. I've done 8 now. I'm in the military, and I put in leave for 2 to 3 days each time one comes out. And we've gotten to the point now where number one, putting in the 2 to 3 days isn't going to guarantee a clear anyways. But number two, it's not fun. Like this was not a fun experience for me. I had fun playing with the guys that I played with. They're hilarious and they're all great. But this was not something that I look back and go, yeah, I want to spend my time doing that again. It was like sticking your hand through a wood chipper to reach a cookie on the other side. Like, yeah, okay, great, you got the cookie, so what? Great, you got the emblem, so what? Like, you did it. Congrats. No one no one cares except for the people who play this game. I hope that people understand what I'm trying to communicate and don't construe it as, oh, you're just mad you didn't clear. I honestly don't care if I cleared or not. I would have liked to, but that doesn't bother me as much as either deliberate, purposeful, um, addling or incompetence. I don't know which one it is, but something is coming from the development team that is making this experience unpleasant and unfun. I understand that this is supposed to be the most hardcore thing possibly in gaming. This is one of the most hardcore things you can do. It's up there. Like it absolutely has to be. Um, but again, uh, just because it is one of the most hardcore things does not mean that, you know, you have to make sure you limit it to 0.001% of the population or however many people got the emblem, right? Um, and again, it doesn't mean you have to make it unfun either. And it certainly does not mean that you skip on quality assurance, roll out bad updates, and allow your investors to have a miserable time. And again, why is it miserable? Well, it's because you designed a system that was broken, rolled it out broken, and now they're the ones that have to deal with it. To be clear, this is not my fault that this raid was like this. There's only one entity whose fault that is, and that's Bungie's. This raid could have been a pleasant, difficult, and challenging experience that truly felt worthwhile to complete. It could have. I don't think it felt that way for most players. And to be quite frank, I don't see a reason to play anymore. My grind and my effort and the literal sweat that was poured into getting ready for contest mode and then actually performing in contests, um, all the reading, all of the damage strat testing, everything, all of that goes to waste. It's absolutely wasted. I don't see a reason. Um, Potentially the game does a magical 180 and everything is fixed and I get to have fun again. Um, but I don't know. I don't see a world where I get to grind for hours and hours and hours a week. And in the one time a year that I really get to show it off, um, it it doesn't matter. There's no use to getting new weapons because if they're good, they get nerfed. If they're bad, they get mediocrely buffed. Um, there's no point in doing build crafting because stats are broken. There's really no point. And you know, I'm not inclined to wasting time. That's one thing I'm not a fan of. And you know, I had fun raiding with my team. I don't think that that was unfun at all. But um, you know, at the end of the day, we wasted 37 hours due to bugs and technical errors, and it was miserable.
You know, and I suppose that there needs to be some form of goal for Bungie to win back the favor because I know that the community's pretty burned on this rate as well. So I'm more so echoing that sentiment. And honestly, the two things that would really bring me back to the game, um, one, better quality assurance, having more tight procedures, more polish, less issues, less bugs. I mean, this is why a lot of people, call for a Destiny 3 because there's so many issues that it can, what a lot of people attribute to just a faulty system. So, I really think that, some quality control is needed to repair some of the mistrust that's with the community. In addition to that, I think redoing contest mode or extending that time, whether it's for participants who entered or, you know, if they completed any encounter or what have you, some sort of retry, because it's clear that Bungie messed up contest. They messed it up. It is so overtuned. It was absolutely miserable. It was littered with bugs that kept people from practicing and participating, and the stats are broken. I think that if you gave people another shot, I think that there would be a lot of forgiveness. I know for at least for my team, we would definitely feel a little less hopeless if there was another chance. I doubt that that's going to be the case. But I mean, the whole reason we have 48 hours is because of Vow of the Disciple. I got my day one clear. I could sit on my high horse and say, well, if you didn't get it in 48 hours, sucks to be you. But the reality is, people couldn't load in for hours. So, who am I to say that it should be only 24 hours and it's only day one? Who cares? Who cares? I'm not into gatekeeping time and gatekeeping achievements. They don't matter that much to me in this game. I think that if it is Bungie's fault that the raid was released in a botched state, it's also Bungie's responsibility to fix it. To me, that'd be giving players another shot. Again, how they choose to roll that out, I don't know how they would choose to do that, and I'm not going to say that they should do it one way or another. Obviously I have my wish list, but that's it's neither here nor there. Um, but again, I think those two things, as well as more meaningful in-game playstyles, like just the ability to actually make something that's usable, and chase something that can be used instead of wasting time for something that is inevitably pointless. I mean, again, it's not that I think that the damage meta can't be Thunderlord or it can't be Acrous or it can't be one weapon or it can't be two weapons, right? Like I just it's a shame that there is no reason to chase. There's none. The reason to chase is gone. I probably have all of the best weapons that will be used in the next raid race already. I probably already have them. There is no reason to go after tier 5 loot, tier 5 armor, tier 5 weapons, enhanced perks, enhanced barrels. Like there's no reason to chase that. Absolutely none. Is it a cool concept? Yes. Destiny 2 is a good game with great ideas, with poor execution, and terrible quality control. That is Destiny 2 in a nutshell. Lots of good ideas, and I think in a nutshell, the armor rework and everything else, and the portal is really awesome. My initial review of the expansion was very positive. The raid race killed it. It absolutely killed it for me. And you know, I think to repair that mistrust, there needs to be an effort shown to uh, repair the damage that's been caused, and that to me, what needs to be done is more quality control and an extension on contest.
I guess that's all I had. I'm very disappointed. It feels like a slap in the face and like a gut punch. I'm definitely going to take a break from the game. I may end up quitting, just because, well, for one of my teammates has already. They've already quit because of how how bad our experience was. And he's someone who played basically every day. He's a supporter. He's a donator. He loves this game, just like the rest of us. And he can see the writing on the wall that you know the time he put in didn't matter. So I don't know what my personal future holds. I like the game. It's fun. It's challenging in its own unique way. But again, it's sad when a company has the potential to accentuate a player's ability to overcome diversity, and instead they squander it. They fill it with bugs, and then they expect you to pay for another $100. I have respect for the people who put their heart and soul into developing this game and to working their butts off, and doing everything they can for this game. Nothing but respect for those people. And again, I don't know where the shortfall is. I'm not here to say what it is or isn't. I'm just making points of conversation that there's an issue that needs to be addressed. Um, I don't think that it's acceptable to leave the game in the state that it is, and just roll it out. I know there's internal timelines and development procedures and all that stuff. Like I get some of that. That doesn't excuse a bad rollout. All the other games that I mentioned are littered with bugs. They have them. They have bugs. Every video game I've played probably has got, major bugs. But at the end of the day, they don't impede on one's ability to enjoy content to the fullest as severely as Destiny's does. Destiny's issues are absolutely game breaking. They are dumbfounding, and they absolutely ruin the experience of the player. Not just hinder, they ruin it. Day one was ruined for countless teams. Again, I'm not going to be a pessimistic party pooper and say that I'm going to delete all my characters and screw Bungie and I hate you guys, and like I don't operate like that. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I would do something like that. Again, at the end of the day, um, I think that there needs to be some serious revision, and I do think that something needs to be said, and I want it to be a voice of reason within the community. I don't know. I think it's just important to call the stuff out when it's seen, and I really hope that it all gets fixed soon because it's disappointing to say the least. It is extremely disappointing, and I don't know. I hope to see it get fixed soon. So yeah, I guess that's all I had. Um, I'm gonna log off this game for a few weeks, hopefully a few months. Take a break, enjoy my time playing other games, and thank you for watching. I appreciate it.